In this video, we're going to talk about hypoglycemia. Now, what is hypoglycemia? Hypo meaning low, glycemia meaning sugar. So it's a situation when you have the sugar in your blood is way too low. And that comes from an overreaction of insulin. Insulin is a hormone from the pancreas that lowers sugar. So if the insulin is spiked too much or too fast, it comes in there and it drops the sugar too low. And so what causes hypoglycemia is basically concentrated carbohydrates, which is sugar. We'll get into that in a bit, but I want to talk about some of the other basics first, the symptoms of hypoglycemia. Number one, headache. Why? Because the neurons in the brain do run on sugar. Stomach noise, growling, a lot of, like you could have hunger pains, things like that. Brain dead. Don't take a test when you have hypoglycemia. Very bad idea. Weepiness, that's emotionally crying, mood issues, hyperirritability, even psychosis, psychotic behaviors, craving sweets, anxiety, depression, different lower mood situations, paranoia, fatigue, fear. How many people have these issues and they don't realize that it could come from a low blood sugar situation? So the single worst thing you can do when you have hypoglycemia is consuming sugar. And I see people all the time. They have a bag of candy by their desk or in their pocket. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, it's for my low blood sugar. Because they're thinking logically, well, if I have low blood sugar, I need to raise it because the sugar will give me energy. But if you do that, you're just going to continue the process and make it worse. It's going to spike again and drop again. So it might be good for 5 minutes, but then you have the same exact situation. So you must never consume concentrated sugar if you have hypoglycemia, unless it's a real serious situation where your sugars are so low, you're having because you're a diabetic and it can come up and down that way. So because in diabetes you can have hyper, which is high sugar, and then hypo within several hours. So in that situation, you might need a temporary boost of sugar coming up if you didn't eat in several hours, but in most cases you do not want to do this because you're not going to be able to correct it. So I want to point out some of the hidden carbohydrates that people are not aware of. When we say no sugar, we're also saying no juice. There is more sugar in juice, especially apple juice, than there is in soda. And I'm not going to talk about the obvious ones like soda, but fruit, that's a hidden source of carbohydrates. Grains, breads, pasta, cereal, crackers, biscuits, waffles, pancakes, those things. Starches, potatoes, French fries, mashed potatoes, all that are hidden carbohydrates. Even plain yogurt has a significant amount of sugar in it. And of course, wine and other types of alcohol. So these are the things that will worsen it. Now the question is, what do you do to fix hypoglycemia? Number one, there's a really simple, amazing herb that you can take. Simple being you can just go to the health food store and get it. It's called berberine, and it's an ancient Chinese herb that's been used about 3000 BC. So it's been around a long time, and even in certain studies it shows that it mimics the effects of metformin, which is something to control the blood sugars. So again, this herb you can get to help with not just hypoglycemia, but hyperglycemia, which is diabetes. And by the way, hypoglycemia is a precursor for diabetes. It comes before it, simply because the person's eating too much sugar. Nutritional yeast. This is in a lot of my different videos. This will actually lower and help regulate insulin because it has the B vitamins in it. Put it in some applesauce, or no, not applesauce. Put it in maybe some peanut butter or something like that. You can buy it in wafers or tablets as well. High potassium foods. Now you might say, should I start eating bananas? Bananas only have 500 milligrams of potassium. What you really need to do is have the big salads every single day, 7 to 10 cups. It's not hard to do that. I just had a salad about a half hour ago, and it's not a big deal. That has a lot of potassium, which will help store sugar longer and help this situation. Exercise is a valid form of therapy for hypoglycemia or diabetes. because it helps blood sugars. And the most important thing is make sure in the morning you have protein for breakfast. Do not skip that meal. Do not have carbohydrates, because within an hour you're going to have low blood sugar. So this is the most important thing. A lot of people have hypoglycemia in the afternoon or in the evening because their breakfast is too much carbohydrate. So in your breakfast, do not consume fruit, bagels, pancakes, waffles. You want protein. You want eggs, bacon, hormone-free, cheese. That would be the best breakfast for hypoglycemia. And I know I'm going to create other videos on this too, but even a hamburger patty that without the bun, if you did some of that, or a bison burger for breakfast, I know it sounds weird, but I've done that many times, and you'll see that your blood sugar issue will just completely go away very quickly, because it's really a good fuel source to help balance blood sugars. All right, so those are the things you need to do. This is the basics, so go ahead and start. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, before you go, I have a quick favor. I'm always looking for good ideas for my next video, but I would really like your advice on what you're interested in, whether it's a burning question, a confusion, some interesting idea that I could do a video on. So click the link below, fill out what you're interested in, and I will create a video. Thank you.